Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So in the last month or so, Kane Pixels has been updating their community tab with several images. So what I wanted to do is do another quick thoughts video because I really wanted to discuss what each one of these photos could potentially mean and also where the series could potentially go based off of these photos. Again, all of this is just for fun. It's just for speculation and for us to go ahead and potentially find out or kind of figure out where the series is potentially going. And nothing is set in stone, of course. And I maintain the mindset that I don't know everything because you never know. You may bring something up that I've never noticed or vice versa. So that's why I like to make these videos in order to have these discussions with all of you. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the one that was updated about a month ago, which was the crumbled piece of paper. And the crumbled piece of paper has several things on here that I wanted to touch base on. So the first thing that we see is the prototype. The prototype is it's not dead center, but it's like right there. It's the most obvious part of this entire thing here. What does that tell us about this? You know, this particular person may have had some exposure to this prototype machine. Is it somebody that used to work with async? You know, who knows at this point, or has seen it? I'm leaning in that direction, honestly, that this belongs to somebody who used to work there, of course, not just somebody who was like lost in the back rooms and potentially wrote something up. So the other parts of this that I'm looking on is the eyeballs. The eyeballs for me could potentially mean something along the lines of an eye-opening experience. There is knowledge being brought forth to you. To kind of piggyback off of that, we see an apple here. The apple is slowly fading or turning into, I don't know, like maybe it's just dissipating or going somewhere. It may be some sort of concept talking about the knowledge because, you know, regarding the Garden of Eden, you have the apple. The apple represents the knowledge. So again, eye-opening experience, knowledge. We could potentially be seeing the crumbled piece of paper of somebody who saw something that blew their mind. You know, who knows at this point what this could potentially mean, you know, and then of course you have the threshold right here with the silhouettes of two people connected to the prototype. There's definitely a connection here as to, you know, them going into the back rooms. I don't want to dig too much into it because I feel like that is the element of surprise that I want to, you know, keep as special for myself and for others in the community. But that's just something to think about. Okay, so in this next image, it's really interesting to me because it seems, again, it's very different. The walls look like a different color. They're not the typical yellow wallpaper that we're used to. And these columns are brand new. This architecture is brand new. And that's why I think that this could potentially be something related to a space, specifically for the commercial side, because in the commercial side, if you all remember in presentation, had columns that looked like this. There was columns all over the place, especially in the commercial district for that. Now, the short ones in the middle, of course, nothing's ever going to make sense in the back rooms. So I don't know what those could potentially be connected to. I've never seen those before. Those are really cool. But again, I feel like the columns is a way for this to be an indication of, hey, this is something within the A space project. And it could potentially mean, again, this is why I wanted to talk about this. This could potentially tell us as to where the next video is going to take us. Who knows? And I really hope so, because I really want to see A space stuff. I really want to see stuff happen there. I want to see the chaos. I want to see all of that. So I really hope that that is the direction that this series is going to take. All right. So for this next photo, we're kind of going to go back a little bit to when we were watching Pitfalls, because I feel like this right here is the same section that we saw in Pitfalls. So this could also be a direction that this series is going to go. Or will we go ahead and revisit those characters like Marvin, for example, and their experience and what they had to say after report? Because I feel like what we're seeing here, Guardrails, is clear indication that, hey, they're really trying hard to like not let anybody else fall through now that they know what's happening here. And then going ahead and thinking about A space itself, if you recall in the commercial district within the presentation video, they also showed these pits that were barricaded as well. So this could be a situation where we're looking at a space, or we're looking at the pitfalls section from the pitfalls video. I feel like this could potentially be more the pitfalls section that we saw with Marv, because the lighting on the top really matches as if you were looking from the left to the right in that one room that they went across. So according to this, Marvin and the team started on the right side of this photo and made their way over to the left. And on the left is where that door was, that mystery door. And then Marvin fell through one of these holes that are right here. So yeah, I mean, again, two things that we could potentially take from this. It's a space or the pitfall section. I lean towards the pitfall section, because why wouldn't we want to return back to that team? That was one of the coolest videos. And I feel like that was a specific set of characters that we all want to know how they're doing. We all want to see what's going to happen next. We did have some continuation with their characters with the video called Report. So I want to know more. I want to see them again. And I really hope that that's, again, one of the directions that we're going to go with the series. Now, since we're talking about pitfalls, I did want to talk about one thing. Within that same bit that Marvin is going across the pits, you notice here that there is 3 lanes, right? So you got lane number 1 here, where Marvin's starting at, and you got lane number 2 in the middle, and then you have the third one that leads closest towards, where that green door was. I want you to pay close attention to this one section right here that shows a structural difference to everything else. And we've talked about this before, but that's not the point that I'm trying to drive here. What I want you to notice is what happens right when he gets to this spot.
Okay, just one moment, alright? Okay.
Quick, seriously.
Yeah, I'm going. Walking on normal ground. There's no even there.
And if you pause it here, you'll see that Marvin is on lane 2 instead of lane 1 now. So what happened there? There was a glitch, and then suddenly Marvin was on lane 2, and then he fell in that same spot that had that structural difference. It looks like there's nothing underneath that floor. So it could potentially just be carpet and no wall underneath it. So it's a trick. Was he placed there purposefully by something? Or are we just seeing a time jump? Or are we just seeing that the camera footage itself was recorded over in that time frame with that message that pops up, and we just didn't see him move from one section to the other? I just thought it was something really interesting to bring up. I brought that up during a stream a couple of weeks ago, and some people didn't notice that until I brought it up. So I wanted to go ahead and bring it up in a video so that you guys could go ahead and see what I'm talking about. It's really cool, and I'm kind of wondering if that means anything at this point. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and bring that up. The other photo that we have here is, again, I feel like we are headed towards the A-Space project. We are headed towards either an async tour of sorts, and not the best tour. We're talking getting chased and running away sort of tour. I feel like what we're seeing here is an async cart used for getting from point A to point B. Typically, we've seen these types of like carts, these golf carts with multiple seating, used in airports or in warehouses to kind of get to different points as quickly as possible. You would typically see this used in like underground facilities and just big factories and warehouses and even malls as well. A lot of malls, big malls, have used particular carts like this. So that's why I feel like we're looking at an A-Space thing again. What if we get to see a mall sooner or later? I don't know. I'm just hopeful. I want to see A-Space. I want to see something happen there. I want to see somebody running through there. I don't know exactly what to expect there, but looking at this, I feel like we're most likely headed in that direction. Now we have another image that is really interesting because now we have to worry about finding a coffee mug. Now, to some of you, this was just a black screenshot. There wasn't anything there. But if you mess with the photo a bit and you flip it upside down, you will see that it is a coffee mug. And this coffee mug has a circular symbol in the middle. And then in the background, I would honestly consider that to be either the control room, right where the threshold is at, or perhaps an office within async itself. Really interesting. Again, this is a sort of a point towards, hey, something's going to happen within async. We're going to once again have that perspective from within async itself, or potentially a space as well. And finally, last but not least, we have what I consider one of the most exciting updates so far, because not only are we seeing the green light that we saw in Found Footage 2, but we're also seeing someone who seems to be in some sort of lab coat. I think it might be a lab coat, and this is definitely an office setting. We have a office chair and we have a table. I don't know what this is in the background or anything like that, but whatever is above him. But this is honestly really, really cool, because I feel like we're going to have that connection between Found Footage 2 and then also async as well. So could we potentially see the continuation of what happened to the character in Found Footage 2, and maybe they are indeed being teleported somewhere, or we are just seeing something happening within the async facility that we saw take place in Found Footage 2. Who knows? All I know is that this is the most exciting update so far, because this gives us some sort of like solid idea that we could potentially be seeing that connection happen, or we're going to get that definite, like, okay, we're going to see something catastrophic happen within async itself. It's hard to tell at this point, but honestly, this is amazing. I cannot wait to see what will come from this. But yeah, if you have any sort of idea as to where you think the series is going to end up going, or you have any sort of theory regarding the pictures that we covered today, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, because I love seeing what all of you have to say regarding this series. And again, I never know if you're going to bring something up that I didn't really think about and would end up making more sense to me. And it's always a lot of fun to see what your theories are and what you've been thinking about all this time as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to catch us next time. Thank you so much for your time today. And as always, take care, everybody. Peace. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.